Yeah, what's up? It's me, Hard 8 times. It's the truth for YouTube. Your favorite commentator's favorite commentator. Yeah, what's up, people? What's happening? Make sure you go check out my last video. I overclocked my monitor from 1920 by 1080 to 2560 by 1600. It'll be down in the video response section just in case you missed it. Even though it wasn't really an overclock, all I did was down sample, but I didn't know, which is why I made the video. Shout outs to everybody that left a comment. I definitely learned something new. Thank you for schooling your boy. Now, also go check out the Facebook group Adult Gamers. The link will be down in the description. Everybody is welcome. All that we ask is you keep it gaming. You did. Now, Digital Foundry, if you don't know what Digital Foundry is, they are part of Eurogamer.net, and they're a group of guys that break down video games technically. You know, they find out the true resolution, they find out the true frames per second, and they do all of this by using professional equipment. You know what I mean? Shit that can't be argued with. Shit that can't be damage controlled. None of that. They use equipment to find these things out. Now, they have gotten a hold of the Killzone Shadowfall demo. Now, I'm going to read a little bit of this, and then we'll get into it. It says, "This is it. This is PlayStation 4 with the reveal of Killzone Shadowfall. We have our first glimpse at real-time next-generation gameplay, giving us some idea of what to expect from a technical perspective from Sony's brand-new hardware. Those hoping for a leap towards 1080p resolution are likely to be pleased with the developers' efforts, while those lusting after a new 60 frames per second standard should prepare for disappointment." Yeah. Now, Killzone will be running in full 1080p native, but the downside, it will be only 30 frames per second. Damn. Now, this is next generation. The PlayStation 4 has a 8-core CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, even though we don't know how much of that RAM is dedicated to gaming. What is stopping developers from giving console players 1080p by 60 frames? What is the problem? Now, I want to ask y'all a question, and you can let me know down in the comment section. What would you rather have? Would you rather have 1080p, 30 frames per second, or would you rather have 720p, 60 frames per second? Let me know down in the comment section. Me personally, I would rather have 720p, 60 frames per second. That's just me. For consoles. You understand what I'm saying? I don't, like, we already knew that 30 frames per second was probably going to be the standard. John Carmack said that a long time ago. He's the head of id development. He's responsible for games like Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, Rage. Y'all know. And he warned us that most games will probably be 30 frames per second. Now, the thing is, we don't know if that 60 frames per second, we don't know if that 1080p full resolution will become standard. Because there was a couple of launch games from the PS3 that was 1080p native. NBA 07, Tekken Dark Resurrection, Ridge Racer 7, They were 1080p native. And then after that, pretty much most games went back to the sub HD bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Now, hopefully the 1080p becomes the standard. At least the 1080p 30 frames becomes the standard for next gen. The thing is, how is it going to fare with the multiplats? Now, this is an exclusive. Now, if Sony couldn't pump out 1080p 60 frames, then we know most of the multiplats are not going to be 1080p 60 frames. You understand what I'm saying? Now, how is it going to fare with the multiplats? Are the developers of the multiplats, are they even going to continue to give us the 1080p? or that will just be exclusives. See, with me, it's kind of funny because I don't plan to be playing any multi-plats on the PlayStation 4. You know, I don't plan to at all. You know, if it's got a PC version, of course I'm gonna get the PC version. Now, exclusives is what my PlayStation 4 would be for, and I think all of the in-house developers at Sony will utilize the 1080p. You know what I mean? Hopefully. But what about the multiplats? Are we gonna go back to fucking sub HD, 30 frames per second, or is 1080p gonna be the standard? Will Sony require that as a standard for the PlayStation 4? You know, will they require developers to, you know, do 1080p, or, you know what I mean? Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but this is the first game that Digital Foundry have got their hands on. Now, 30 frames per second doesn't really bother me on consoles. 30 frames per second on PC, it makes me cringe. It's terrible. But on consoles, it's not so bad. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, because I know how you motherfuckers be thinking on this YouTube shit. I know what you're thinking. Oh, 30 frames per second, it's 30 frames per second. It's no difference, Hard 8. How can you like 30 frames per second on consoles, but you don't like it on PC? I can't explain it, people. I just cannot explain it. But 30 frames per second on PC, I can't deal with. But consoles is not a big deal. And I think it's more because there's nothing I can do about it. Like, for the last couple days, I've been playing Uncharted 2 online, which is so much better than Uncharted 3. Oh my God. Graphically also. But, and you know, Uncharted 2 is 30 frames per second, and it really doesn't bother me. And I think it's because there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I don't have no choice. You know, if I want to play my favorite exclusives on PlayStation, I got to deal with the 30 frames. There's nothing I can do about it, so it's like, why complain over spilled milk? You understand? Whereas PC, I can do something about it. Consoles, I can't. So I think that's what it is. I think it's just accepting it because you can't change it. You know, that's a lot of things that people that's the thing that people have to realize. There's no reason of crying over something that you can't change. So I think that's what it is with the 30 frames per second on consoles. Can't change it, so I might as well just deal with it if I want to play my favorite game or one of my favorite games. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what it is. But if you got a PC and a console, you understand exactly what I'm saying when I say 30 frames on PC, unplayable. 30 frames on consoles, playable. It's hard to explain. You will have to experience it to understand. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all think down here. They also came up with something down here where they said that, you know, the PlayStation 4 is an 8-core CPU, and it's running in tandem with an 800 megahertz clock Radeon GPU. They don't know what GPU it is, but it's running at 800 megahertz in tandem with the CPU. So I don't know. Like, what is it? Is it that developers are just cutting corners? Are they trying to save money by not giving us 1080p 60 frames? Because I would think you got an 8-core CPU, you got 8 gigs of RAM. Granted, we don't know how much is used how much is dedicated for gaming, but 8 gigs of RAM, 8-core CPU. What the fuck is holding it back? What is holding it back now? I don't know. Maybe one of y'all can help me out down in the comments section. Let me know how you feel about this. And remember to answer the question. Would you rather have 720 60 frames, or would you rather have 1080 30 frames? Let me know what y'all think down in the comments section. Killzone will be in 30 frames. God damn it. But whatever. Let me know. This your boy Hard 8, and I'm out. Deuces.
Hey! Hey! New shoes on the Range Rover, good with mine. Yeah, motherfuckers act like I ain't